Hi, my name is Amber Beecham. I am in the educational specialist at Kennesaw State University's instructional technology program. I am a current candidate who is expecting to graduate in the next month. I have 5 years of experience working with English speakers of other languages. That is my role at North Hall High School. I am the English ESOL lead teacher, and I handle all of the federal documents and support teachers and students in their different classes. I pursued this degree through Kennesaw State University so that I could get a better understanding of how to support the English language learners at my school as well as their teachers by learning how to use technologies, tools, and resources to support curriculum and instruction. So the title of my capstone project was focused on how to give teachers greater support. So what I was looking at for my capstone project was how to support English teachers at North Hall High School with collaboration and lesson planning, curriculum using technology tools, and support with diverse learners. Now, while performing my proposal and enacting upon it, I learned that our problem was the English department consists of 8 English teachers that continually discussed feelings that they were overwhelmed and unsupported, and that even when they tried to discuss this thing with colleagues and administrators, that they felt like they were not being listened to. And I believe the problem of lack of support in the English department was increasing due to teacher burnout and turnover rate. So teachers feeling overwhelmed was only increasing because we had such a high turnover in the English department. So then it was putting a lot more students into teachers' classrooms. Those kind of things were taking place, and then it was putting more pressure on the teachers that decided to stay, more pressure on teachers that were coming in as new teachers in general. And the problem was increasing and needed to be addressed in order to improve attrition and student learning in our school. So my capstone project plan, based on the problem and need, was that I proposed that North Hall High School English teachers participate in PD sessions to foster collaboration and support with lesson planning, curriculum using technology tools, and support with diverse learners. I wanted to support the English teachers as they were learning how to navigate working with my EL students, our SPED students, DPI students, which that means students that you are trying to make sure that they remain in high school and they graduate on time with their cohorted peers. And then, of course, just our general cohort classes. So during the completion of the capstone, I met with my principal to provide data on our English language learner, our ELL students, their scores, and the amount of teachers that were asking support. And the result was met with a response that was quite positive. I was a little nervous at first, a little apprehensive to go to my administrators and try to say, here's what's not going well, and here's what I think needs to happen. I was a little worried about how they would receive that, but my principal did listen, did pay attention to the data that I came to him with, because I did have Excel sheet data that showed how students were performing, the responses from teachers. So when we had our meeting, I had all of this data to present to him that was coming from our entire population of students across the board. I proceeded past the English department only and then started to look at how are they doing in all of their other classes as well. So the result was met with a response to restructure elements to improve support for teachers and EL students. The plan became to prepare for the following academic year as well, looking at how could we make an impact? How could we implement change that would improve student learning? So what we looked at was extending beyond these PD sessions, but how do we give more support to teachers and students? And the idea was in the next academic year that I would have the same planning period as one of our new English teachers so that I could support her in curriculum and instruction and introducing technology tools that would provide support to our English language students. And then also I was allowed this one period that would be a push-in support period to go and be with our new English teacher as we were practicing a cohort of ELL students for the first time in American literature. American literature is a requirement to graduate high school in the state of Georgia. So we decided that this would be our trial to see how would it go if the ELL teacher was in the classroom with the general education teacher to provide further support, resources, and structure in language acquisition. And then in addition to that, since the results from the math department showed that there were gaps that needed to be closed in student engagement and their grades and progressing towards graduation, we decided that we needed to have a similar plan on the math side as well. So we also introduced a end of period math period that was to impact student learning by them having a structured class period every day, 7th period, that they could get support in any of their math classes. So it is a math certified teacher that also holds an ESOL endorsement that is able to provide math extension to give support over any homework that needed to take place and prepare for quizzes and tests. Now, the evaluation plan, in order to evaluate success, the information that had been gathered was data from our Canvas course. Canvas is our learning management system. So we were able to look at the data from the dashboard and see the amount of participation, how many times are students actually accessing certain modules, certain content, how many times are they involved, which technology resources are used the most. We also looked at teacher opinion on usability of the Canvas courses for resources, the percentage of work submissions. We looked at teacher response to surveys. The teacher response to surveys also served as a measure of evaluation by asking teachers to reflect on what they felt like the value was of the PD sessions that took place, what worked well from what they learned in those PD sessions in their classrooms, and whether they needed further support in using some of those resources and tools. Further evaluation of the plan was using the student work samples and assessments that were submitted by the teachers to see how our diverse learners were doing in achieving passing grades and whether or not they were meeting the standards that they were expected to be meeting. Then the first activity of the Capstone experience was to create professional development meetings that would occur 2 times a month over the course of the year. The PD sessions were uploaded activities and resources into our Canvas course. I put supplemental resources for the diverse learners, translated resources that were needed, translated assignments, various scaffolding supports, interactive charts and diagrams that could be used online, and then proceeded to collect responses from teachers as they use those items. There were Google Forms embedded into the Canvas course, so the teachers would just go back to the Canvas course and provide the responses. Lesson planning templates and curriculum maps that were provided by our district were provided in the Canvas course as well, so that would be there for new teachers to input their information and have as resources. The results from the Capstone experience were really quite positive. The objectives and deliverables were met. Teacher lesson planning and collaboration did increase. It went from starting out the year before as 0 to daily for roughly 5 out of the 8 English teachers. Students that were on track for graduation increased. Students with potential options for dual enrollment and work-based learning for the next year has increased also due to class pass rates. Student exits from the English speaker of other language programs based on their access test scores, which is a federal requirement, doubled. A negative outcome that is not directly related to this project was the inability to improve attrition. North Hall High School had the highest rate of teacher turnover, with a total of 16 positions being made vacant. 6 teachers reached retirement age. 8 teachers were released from contracts to gain coaching staff and get coaching positions in different locations. 2 teachers left the teaching field entirely. 2 positions remained vacant at the start of the year, and those have not been filled because there were no applicants. Reflecting on the Capstone project, I feel that I learned a good deal about technology facilitation and leadership. The most important element I learned is how critical collecting data is for achieving outcomes for certain changes in progress. I used my knowledge to systematically collect and analyze student data, interpret the results, communicate findings with their teachers and my principal, and that is crucial in implementing interventions to be able to maximize student learning. Without the data collected on my ELL students, I would not have seen the great strides that we made in an attempt to close learning gaps and support the teachers. By incorporating a Canvas course to assist my colleagues with scaffolding strategies, I was able to demonstrate my knowledge and the effective use of digital tools and resources to support and enhance higher order thinking. Also, when reflecting on this project and feeling like I did not have as much experience as teachers that I would be collaborating with and trying to guide, I originally had assumptions that they would not be willing to work with me, work with another teacher that didn't have as much professional experience. But the situation could not be further from the truth. They were eager and willing because so many teachers wanted to feel like they were reaching our ELL students and our diverse population. They wanted to see them connect those dots and learn and grow. And my principal as well was very attentive and responsive. And I'm very excited about this project because I think we did a lot more than I ever expected could happen. Also, copyright acknowledgments. The data on the demographics of our students and our school came from the Governor's Office of Student Achievement for North Hall High School, as well as the National Center for Education Statistics that was based on Common Core of data. And I hope that anyone watching this video realizes that they absolutely can make changes, and it involves a team of people that are skilled and willing to support each other and their students and look at what can we do with this data and continuing to assess the situation and not blame anyone and move forward in progress.